Welcome to another episode of Draw With Me, Kids.
Episode 77.
Oh.
Graveyards.
Whoa, spooky. Yeah, we're actually going to be doing some of the creatures that you guys suggested. We had zombies, ghosts, and mummies suggested for this week. So we thought, why not do a whole graveyard worth of creepy people that live there. Or cute. Well, it depends on what you want to do. So, grab your pens, your pencils, your erasers, and your paper.
And let's go.
Ooh.
Let's flap.
Flap.
And flip.
And flip. So, Flap and Flip and Charlotte from last week. And Miss Rainbow's own Happy Bat family, I can talk, with Starlet, Bean, the sweet, fierce, Sil, and Ver. And they all have their own little cute things that they're doing. So I took all of these and I scanned them in. We're going to start with our creatures and stuff. What one do you want to start with?
I want to do a mummy.
Want to do a mummy? Well, here's the cool thing about doing any of these creatures. You can start off with a very similar base. You can start off by drawing what we would draw for our person. You'd want to draw a head. So you can draw a round circle for the head. And a body. So if you like, we've done in the past, I'm just going to move you over there. Hello, camera. We've done the bean shape for a cartoon. But you can choose whether you want that body to be big body, or little body, or a cute body, or a scary body. But basically a mummy is just a person wrapped up in linen, in strips of linen. Because, as everybody, and you can draw your arms, you're just drawing the skeleton, not really skeleton, but the form of which you're going to put all of the clothes or objects on. And every culture has their own way of honoring people who die. And so mummies come from
Egypt.
That's right. Well, among other places. There's also other mummies found around the world, like in South America. And I'm trying to think of other ones that have been found. But we mostly strongly associate mummies with Egypt and curses that might be put on tombs to make it spooky and scary. So the whole idea, I'm going to make mine with his arm, or his or her arms out. I don't know what kind of mummy this is going to be. Maybe it's a mommy. And then you want to do the legs, so maybe I'll do this one sort of walking or shuffling along. And I think that this mummy is just sort of playing with us. I think they, in my world, because my world is usually cute characters. This is a playful mummy. Sometimes I do scary things, but not that often. I do like scary things, though, don't I? I like a lot of scary things. So what you see with Miss Rainbow, she's doing like a pyramid there so that her mummy has a place to go. And what she's done, which I think is super cool, that you guys, once you have your base of what your character's going to be, you can keep this base for pretty much, and I'm going to move them up here, any of the characters we're drawing. I think I'll just use it for all three of them at the moment, and then I will show you how I draw one of my favorite ghost characters. She's my own character. And Sophia already knows who it is, don't you, Miss Rainbows?
Yep.
Anyway, so take your base. In this case, if you want to make it a mummy, Miss Rainbows has done something really cool. She's made an eye place. So where the bandages might overlap. And I've noticed on her picture, so I sort of do it like if you're drawing a ninja, so a little triangle piece there. And you can make the eyes sort of peek out like that. You can make them red if you want to make them super spooky. You can make them angry looking or happy looking. Anything you want, but she's filled in black. Sort of underneath. So I think that's super cool. That's something that Miss Rainbows has done. So you can draw straight lines all the way across, and just because you want to maybe give the impression of it being wrapped, don't be afraid of making those lines go in and under each other and sort of seem to sort of cross or go over top of the base that you've made. And maybe because you have a goofy character like I do, not so creepy and scary, you have like some of the bandages are starting to unravel, so they're a little looser maybe on there.
My mummy has tied a bow in their hair.
That's adorable. I think that's cute. You can have a super scary mummy by making them look really muscular, so you can change their body shape to be sort of like this, muscular zombie. And it's kind of weird that you would have that, but maybe you want to have this big scary base like that, or maybe you want something much more skinny and skeletal, like they've sort of just wasted away because they've been buried for so long. So I like to just sort of draw and fill in, just keep going with those lines. If you want to add a little bit of extra weirdness to it, you can sort of color in some of those bands black, so it looks like you're getting some of the dark mummified skin revealed underneath. So do you know, I'm gonna make this one come across the hands, and the hands are gonna, even the fingers are gonna be wrapped instead of all wrapped together. There we go. So that is how you do not a zombie, a mummy. And you can do little accessories, like Miss Rainbows did a bow. So maybe you even want to take like the material for the wrap and turn it into a bow to make something cute like that on their back, the back of their head like that. And really, so I've kind of gone to town here with this, but really you're just drawing. If you've ever tried to wrap some toilet paper or something around yourself and see how it overlaps, or if you've had an injury and you had a tensor bandage, or like even taking my little Kleenex and just sort of wrapping it around, you can sort of see where things overlap, and you can sort of see how a material would go over you. Like this would be a little too thick, my measuring tape, but you can sort of see that if I wrap my wrist around, you have sort of it overlapping, and you can sort of see the lines a little bit. So that's what you want to do with your mummy. Whatever shape you're doing for your mummy, that's what you want to do. Maybe I'm going to create a picture with my favorite ghosty girl meeting some new friends. I don't know, we'll see. So that's one way that you can draw a not so creepy and not so scary mummy, but you can add things like maybe the eyepiece isn't so cute here. Maybe you've got a really angry looking like eye slits, and they don't have pupils in them, so they're just this red glow if you want to make it scary or spooky. And you can make the bandages super dirty or things like that. So there is one creature we've got, which is the mummy. I'll leave the angry mummy face on. So I'm going to use the exact same base or the exact same structure position to do my next character, which will be the zombie. And Miss Rainbows is showing you a few ideas too in hers on how to do things like graveyard pieces, like in a cemetery, headstones, decoration like She's got a pyramid for her character, so like you might want to just do a curve like that. It's just a typical headstone, and she's got RIP on it, or rest in peace is what that stands for. Rest in peace, and that's something that we often say as a wish to someone who's passed on. We hope that you are happy with your life and that you can rest peacefully, because we don't want you walking around like a zombie or something. That would be crazy. So there's something you can do for atmosphere for your yard. I like to do crosses because I grew up with Celtic crosses and angels and stuff. So you can do whatever you want to do to enhance that super cool graveyard. Now, zombies. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How crazy do we want to make zombies? Zombies are basically dead and decayed bodies, right? So when you're making a zombie, it's kind of hard to really make them super cute. So let's not even try. Mine will probably be a little bit cute. I mean, who am I kidding? So I kind of like to do exaggerated features on zombies so that you sort of see the wrinkles and that the skin is really super loose, and maybe you see some, like, I got this big bulging eyeball here who's like, maybe he's sort of got an open socket because it fell out on the other side. Wouldn't that be weird? I mean, I said I don't want to go creepy gross, but here I am going creepy gross. And maybe you can just sort of see a little bit of the jawbone there because he's got a cut that's open up. So you want to think about how a person is built when you're building a zombie. You can do a Minecraft zombie, which is just basically turning the skin green and tearing the clothes a little bit. And that's kind of cute. That's not a super scary, creepy zombie. If you want to get really gross with your zombies, you have to think about, there's my zombie's lips, and then you just sort of see a teeth. This guy's still got pretty good teeth. And he's just got kind of hair that is falling out. But you think about all the parts of the anatomy, all the parts of the body, and you would have muscle, you would have skin, you would have bone, and some of this could look like injuries. So maybe you sort of have, which makes it hard for this model, but let's take it off here. So maybe you have like the arm bone is kind of hanging there, and you'd have sort of stretches of stuff. So you think about all of the different layers of your zombie, of your body, and think about what you would want to expose to make it look super creepy and just gross. You want to make it super cute, I would probably take this a step back and go, where is he? There he is. Go a little bit more like, okay, let's not make that big eye socket. Like where there's no eye. So I might just do sort of this droopy eyelid with an eye that's not quite looking in the same direction as the eye over here, because it's just not working. I like the sort of idea of seeing that grin where the skin sort of all pulled back a little bit to show the teeth. And then just like sort of hair that's not hair anymore, it's just stringy. So then you draw little outfits on them that look like they're sort of tattered and not looked after and maybe have been in the dirt for a bit. And that's sort of how I'd still have that zombie look without getting super creepy gross. And showing like the bones and the muscle and the ketchup, the blood.
Mm.
And but if you want to do that, I mean, you can absolutely, it's your creation. make it even crazier. Now, ghosts are a really interesting creature that you can draw and design. I'm going to start with this base again. And instead of just having the legs, you could do something like a character. I'm again using a similar base just so you can see it all come together. So you just have your being, and instead of drawing the legs, you could just draw what looks like a dress. Maybe not. Do you want to do a classic? Like with the sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to use basically the same body shape, but then I'm just going to make this sort of like a dress skirt sheet that goes like that. And so like you can see that they're floating. And some of the ghosts I really like, so I know a few of you guys watched or have seen Ghostbusters, but some of the ghosts I like are from Ghostbusters because the ghosts aren't necessarily very human looking, they're more monster like. And many of the ghosts, like Slimer, who's just a bean shape, like a big old potato, are these floating characters that may have been human at some point in time. I made him super friendly there. He's a little grosser than that. But Slimer from the real Ghostbusters. But so you sort of take similar shapes, and then you can, with the ghosts and Ghostbusters, you can think about, well, what are they known for haunting? What are they known to, like the librarian ghost in the original Ghostbusters? She looks like a librarian that floats, like more like the first character I'm drawing. I like to draw big eyes and think about, like, maybe this is a happy ghost. But yeah, think about maybe like the librarian ghost. She looks like a librarian, but when she's disturbed, her hair goes flying out and everything becomes very accentuated, of like a very angry hag or witch. So she sort of has that element to her, which I think is cool. Here's a ghost, like a sheet ghost. Like a Casper ghost, a friendly ghost. But yeah, you can take it super scary, right? If you wanted to. So think about Sam Hain from the real Ghostbusters, for example. He's this big giant pumpkin with a billowing black robe. And his face is like, these teeny weeny eyes and these like super sharp pointy teeth in his mouth. He's like, I don't know. I had a pretty good picture of him a while ago, but I'll have to find it. So, ghosts. We did ghosts in episode 2.
Yep.
And really that was
75 episodes ago.
That was 75 episodes ago. And we did the classic shape, right? Which was this, almost like you could do your tombstones for your graveyard. And then do a zigzag, or like I did a ghost recently for Piece Together, which is a new game coming out next year. And the main character, or the main ghost character, come to my website or to my Instagram and Facebook soon, a picture of them as a ghost. It has little tiny puzzle pieces on the bottom. Because they're all puzzle characters, right? And so I did that for her, because that was Lee, right?
Yeah.
For their bottom. So, yeah, so I think that ghosts and spirits are really cool, and there are some really fascinating stories out there, ghost stories, from different cultures too, that you might want to take a look at as to how the belief of a spirit, whether that's a person or actually things in some cultures, can get spirit as well, and how that can carry on in an object. So, ghosts?
I once took out a 10 chapter, 5 ghost story per chapter book from the library. I only got through 3 stories before I was so scared I couldn't
creep
fall
you
asleep.
out? Yeah.
I was through 3 stories.
Some ghost stories can be really, really scary. I know it's true. You have to know what you're willing to let your imagination and your creativity do for you, because sometimes mine gets a little away on me and I can get really scared about things. So if I'm going to draw a ghost, one of my favorite ghosts is Wisp. And so some of you might know who Wisp is, and some of you might not. Sophia most certainly knows who Wisp is, because I draw her a lot. She's my little ghost gal, who is kind of a reflection of my mood in the day. So if something's making me think about scary things or sad things, and Wisp usually has that kind of mood. So I'll show you how I draw a Wisp. I don't know what she's going to be like today. Maybe she's just going to say hi to everybody. She might be shy too. I don't know. She's got her own personality. I always start off Wisp. And she has her buddy Willow, so not to worry, Miss Rainbows. We will put Willow in there too. I know that you would tell me to otherwise. So Wisp starts off with a circle. In this case, I think I see she's sort of a bit curious, maybe. So she's going to come up out of the page a little bit in how I'm thinking. And I always do her body a little bit like that bean. But in this case, because she's sort of going to be coming out, I'll do a little bit of a pear maybe. That's her belly. That's her chest. I'm using my pencil setting. And since she's sort of coming up, looking at me like this, and looking at you guys like this, maybe her... So I block out where her eyes are going to go, and her nose and her mouth are going to go with this little structure. She is a little curious. I suddenly had this, oh, this is what she's going to be doing. So I draw kind of a triangle shape for her form. And she's really based off of sort of a lot of younger children's features. So she'd maybe be, I don't know, 5, like a 5 or 6-year-old in shape and form. She's probably a lot older than that, in my mind anyway. And Wisp,
I feel like Wisp is my age.
Think Wisp is your age? Maybe she is. I'll have to ask her someday. And so I'm always starting out with the basic shapes of Wisp. And she is a ghost girl who has, is based off of the myth of the will of the wisp. So little lights that you'd see in a swamp or a forest that could either guide you to safety or guide you to your doom. She would always guide you to safety though. So it was sort of this idea that she would be personification of that. And her little buddy actually is a little fire wisp named Willow. Right?
Yep.
So she's got this sort of long, smoky genie tail almost. And one of the things I like to do when I'm drawing ghosts is I like to work in blue. Because blue has a very transparent look to it. And I think I made her chin a little bit too pointy. So here's a little wisp. And she is maybe, how are you looking today? I feel like you suddenly aren't looking at the camera, up at the camera. What are you doing? Sometimes I have these conversations with my characters and it makes me sound a little weird, but hey, it's always fun to imagine, to sort of give life to your characters. Oh, I think she's making sure Willow is with her. So I always have her eyes. And she has dark eyes that are just basically all one solid color. Usually blue. And she was created 6 years ago now. 6 years ago now. Because I was looking for a ghost character for a drawing contest. And she came out on my sketchbook and has been coming to my sketchbook pretty much ever since. Maybe one day she'll have her very own story. I'm not sure. She has little sort of wispy flame-like things that come up off of her shirt. She's got a little collar. Looks a little like fur, but it's not. And then what I love about her, which is always fun. Man, I don't know where Willow's going to fit in. Maybe I'm going to make some room for Willow. Right here. Is her hair. She just has this crazy, uncontrollable hair. It's like a ghost. It's sort of, my idea is that it is like smoke. In fact, maybe I'm going to bring her in here just a little bit more. Like smoke. Kind of defies gravity. And I think when I originally drew her, she had 3 sort of tendrils of hair that interwove, and sometimes I do that, and sometimes I just do one big one. Because it's a lot easier to draw her that way. And there is super quick 5-second drawing of Wisp. And I'll bring her ghostly tail. So everything sort of rises with Wisp. Like imagine she's made of smoke, or she's made of something that's just not quite there. And here's her little buddy. I'll start with a little circle, and I draw a little spiral in there, and then I draw the flame. And her little... You're finished? Did you draw? What did you draw? Why didn't you show everybody what you drew? I'm going to turn you over there. Boop.
It's Mimi the mummy.
Mimi the mummy. And then she show everybody.
I'm coming up with names for them.
Mm-hmm.
But Mimi the mummies on top of the pyramid. I have a family. I have Sam, Silk, and Rose is their mom. I have they're the ghosts.
Oh, neat.
I have the zombies. I haven't named them yet. But one's God's hand up.
I like that you put them in the cemetery with their hand, like in their graveyard with their hand out, coming out. Neato.
This girl's already out, and she's waiting for a friend. And then her other friend's trying to sleep, so her other friend is shushing her.
Hey, I'm trying to rest here.
And I have Wisp and Willow.
Oh, thank you for adding Wisp and Willow into your picture.
Thanks for watching Doll Me Kids Edition, episode 77, Graveyards.
Woohoo! We hope you had fun drawing all the creatures that you might find in a graveyard and creating some of the homes like Miss Rainbows did.
If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and share the video with all your friends. That way, nobody misses Doll Me Kids Edition ever again!
Woo! We have lots of fun doing this with you every week, and next week we'll be back with yet another Halloween episode. See you then.
Woo.
Woo.